This episode of DFE is sponsored by italki. Italki is a platform that brings together language students and teachers to enable effective learning through human connection. That means you pick a teacher and arrange one-on-one sessions. You can choose between a professional teacher that is qualified to teach according to educational norms and a more casual, so to say, native speaker to practice your speech and understanding. So, international tutoring sessions, basically. Teachers have a certain freedom to set their own prices, which means that you get in touch with community teachers for as low as $8 per session if you want to. And all of that while staying right where you are at home in your comfy computer chair. And if it isn't comfy, you should consider buying yourself a new one. And what might help pay for that is that if you click on the link for italki in the description, they will gift you $10 along with your first lesson purchase. But at any rate, chair or no chair, go check out italki.
Hallo Katja und hallo Leute. Ich bin Tom aus Alabama und ihr seht Deutsch für euch.
This is a jelly donut. It's a typical German pastry and it's fucking delicious. So far, all Germans can agree. But when it comes to naming the thing, Germany splits into several different camps. Let's take a look at that. First name, Berliner. Now, just for the sake of transparency, I'll admit I'm biased. This is what I call these things. It is also the name that most foreigners are likely to be familiar with because of the famous myth that John F. Kennedy's sentence, Ich bin ein Berliner, means I'm a donut. Just as an aside to clear that one up really quickly in case you hadn't heard, that isn't actually true. While it is true that the indefinite article ein would probably not be used by most Germans in that sentence, using it doesn't automatically make the speaker a pastry. But, don't let that ruin the anecdote for you. Outside of that, though, Berliner is the most common name for these in large parts of Germany, as well as parts of Switzerland that speak German, of course. However, when you look at this map I made, they seem to be strangely split up. Berliner Ballen is a variation of this name, Ballen meaning something like, ball-shaped things. And also in some of these parts, folks apparently like to be a bit more PC about this and call them Berliner Pfannkuchen because Pfannkuchen, without the Berliner, just Pfannkuchen, is what people from Berlin, so actual Berliner, as well as large parts of Eastern Germany call these. Yes, you heard that right, Pfannkuchen, which is what the rest of Germany calls pancakes, because that's literally what it means. Those, however, are called Eierkuchen in the parts where Berliner are called Pfannkuchen. I suppose that's because there's eggs in the dough for them, and you could argue that eggs are part of the dough of many things, but I think it is understandable that you don't want to call yourself the same thing that you can call a pastry. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm a bear claw. Actually, I don't think I would mind being called a bear claw. Bears are so cute. Accordingly, try to avoid this little faux pas when you're in Berlin, unless you want to get some sarcastic remarks and annoyed gazes. On the other hand, that is kind of an integral part to the Berlin experience, so if you're looking for that, this might be a nice place to start. The third widespread word is Krapfen. Krapfen is used in big parts of Bavaria, Austria, and also some parts of Baden-Württemberg. In some parts of these regions, it's further specified to Faschingskrapfen, so Carnival Krapfen, because it has to be differentiated from normal Krapfen, which look like this. This comes from the fact that traditionally, these were served around New Year's, as well as in January, February, which is carnival season. Related to this term, but still different, is Kreppe, either with an E or an A, so Kreppe or Kreppe, which is used mostly in Hessen, and the Kurpfalz, which is a region that spreads across 3 federal states as marked here, and also some German-speaking parts of Silesia, Schlesien. These are the biggest ones. There are some other ones, such as Puffel, which is only used in and around the city of Aachen, even though it's right via smack in one of the regions that very decidedly says Berliner usually, as well as such specific things as Glaskrapfen from Austria because of the way that they were made. Now, of course, there are also a lot of names for Berliner outside of Germany, such as the absolutely non-controversial jelly donut. But we're going to focus on the German names for today because it is a really good demonstration for a fascinating linguistic phenomenon, the Isogloss. Isoglosse in German. An isogloss is what we call an imagined geographical border defined by language. Now, Usually this is not as basic as one region speaking German and one region speaking French. What it is used for is the difference in the realization of the same linguistic thing. So for example, the difference of how you pronounce an R sound in France and Spain. So r versus r. This can, of course, happen alongside actual political borders and between languages, such as in this case with the different pronunciation of the R. But arguably, it is much more interesting when it happens within a region that generally speaks the same language. As another example, I'm sure many of you, if you've been on the internet for a while, have seen that map where they divided the US according to what people call a carbonated sweetened beverage. So if it's a soda or a pop or something else, I forgot. But that's another isogloss map. You could actually make isoglosses in Germany just for the R sound as well. Or, of course, for the Berliner question. Because that's exactly what an isogloss is. So, for example, a difference in a standardized term or name for something. Or a difference in standardized pronunciation. Or a difference in some other linguistic quirk. So, there might even be a fixed difference in grammar for some dialects. What's important is that in the different territories divided by an isogloss, the variations, respectively, are considered standard. Like I, for example, feel heavily urged to, at the end of this, kind of summarize and say, well, yeah, but in the end, Berliner really is the commonly accepted term, generally speaking. That's factually wrong. But that's the power of an isogloss. Just because I've been saying Berliner all my life, and most of the people that I'm around also say Berliner, I feel like, there might be people who say other things, but really Berliner is the one that's, correct in the end. But as we can see from this map, not true. So that means all these lines between these different colored places on this map within Germany and its German-speaking neighbors are isoglosses. And it's all because of jelly donuts. And that's it for today. Now before I go, I want to direct your attention to all of these lovely people who are helping me make more DFA episodes by supporting DFA financially on Patreon. If you also want to do that, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description that says Patreon. It's also on the screen right now. And pledge whatever amount you want. For that, you can also get rewards such as charts. We'll keep rolling. So go check that out. And no matter what amount you pledge, you will be in this list of people at the end of every episode. Thank you to everybody here. And that's it. Yeah. That's all I have to say about Patreon for today, I think. Your random word of the week is... No, I'm busy. I don't know. Pick one. Just open a dictionary and pick one. I don't know. Bis nächste Woche. Tschüss!